let's talk about the beauty of being grounded, a grounded person. In life, as you grow, you realize that you have been tugged left and right, that you have been drained, exhausted, and everybody wanted your attention and wanted to direct you into what they think is right, what they need, what they feel, etc. And people are inherently nice, and they think that what they're doing is nice. So what happens is that in life you tend to go this way and that way and this way and that way. So people get caught up into all of that. So when you say to yourself, I must be a grounded person. Now, when you think about the word grounding, it's way better than saying to yourself, I need to just fly away from all of my troubles and all of my responsibilities and all of people who might bully or exhaust me or drain me, etc. So sometimes we have this feeling that we want to just fly over all of that. What if I said, no, I'm going to ground myself in order to have all of that be not that impactful? It doesn't have that much of effect into my life. You cannot run away from avoidable problems. These were avoidable problems to begin with. Like, for example, when somebody calls you, hey, I need you to do this, that, and this. Do you know that you can say no? And if this friend or this person was so offended that you said no and doesn't give you the freedom to reject his request, then the reason that he or she got offended is that they thought that they can command you. So when you remind them that you do have agency, when you do have free will, it becomes offending to them. How so? Why is it offensive to you to begin with that I do in fact have a free will? So when you say to yourself, I have not only the power but the right to say no, and this is why we need to teach kids that and remind ourselves as adults, because sometimes, a 14 years old boy has his friends wanting him to become a smoker. He must be aware that he can say no. And this word is absolutely pivotal in all of that. Is that when you read a story in English literature or any type of literature, you have characters that don't have free will that is apparent. They just follow everything. But there are characters who intentionally change the setting and the mechanism of the whole event that they are in. They change the mechanism that they are in. They have a say. For example, and this is so beautiful, when you have Spider-Man, for example, try playing, and this is such an amazing metaphor. Imagine that you are playing a video game, all right? And in your video game, you're playing a horror video game. Horror, like Resident Evil. Now, how does any character in Resident Evil move? They don't move like Spider-Man. They move way more slow. They interrupt their movement all on their own. They intentionally move way more rigid and way more slow. And for everybody who loves Resident Evil, of course, I'm not talking about Resident Evil 4 or 5. All right. Now, why in a video game you have your main character moving slowly? And there are zombies and monsters around the character, And the game was developed in a way that makes the character move slowly. Why is that? Because it amplifies the horror. It amplifies the sensation of suspense. Oh my God, the monster is gonna get me, and I just don't move that quickly. Imagine that you're playing as Sonic the Hedgehog. You know Sonic? He's super fast. Or another character from pop culture like Superman or the Flash. Characters that move so fast. If you put them in a video game, it won't be scary because they change the setting. This is a perfect metaphor. When you are in your job or when you have a family situation or anything, if you don't ground yourself, slow down, look around, think about the whole situation, and then just pull the plug. Ground yourself sometimes, not always, because if you are a grounded person, a grounding power, then you will just lose excitement, spontaneity, or a charisma, etc. Pardon me, spontaneity. I have a problem with this word, like a lisp. So you won't be spontaneous. So you can't just say to yourself, I'm going to ground myself always, always, always. No. But sometimes do ground yourself. Have that button ready in your life. And when you do that, you will be surprised at the amount of agency that you had all along. Think about various scenarios in your life. You will come across every scenario and then tell yourself, well, I could have said no to this or that. I could have just not answered the phone. Something that have been bugging me, I permanently delete it and just make my mind at ease and in peace. And that's it. Remember that you do have an agency. And have a awesome life. Life is not short, it is sweet. When you think about it, not as in terms of it being long or short, but as wide. Because psychologically it can be horizontal. And please be merciful with yourself and gentle. Say to yourself, I deserve a blissful, happy life. And if you feel guilty, if you feel like, no, I'm not the person who deserves to have a happy life, then ask yourself why, and then fix that up. It's such a beautiful thing when we intentionally make ourselves happy by being increasingly guilt-free. Sometimes it's a guilt thing. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and check out the playlist for anything. Thank you. Have a nice day.